Hello, my cookies, and welcome. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, we're making arancini. Now, these are like risotto or rice balls that are deep fried. They're absolutely delicious. I used to get them at my favorite Italian restaurant with the spicy marinara. I love it. I miss it. I'm going to be making the risotto from scratch. I'm going to be making a very strong lemon risotto. I'm going to be adding a teeny bit of saffron, and that's only to give it yellowish tint, give it a little bit of flavor as well. So, now I know what we're doing. Let's gather our ingredients. So for the marinara sauce, I have a 28-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes, garlic, onion, and some olive oil. For the risotto, I have my rice here. This is carnaroli rice. Arborio is fine. Saffron, shallot, mozzarella. We're going to put this in the middle. Lemon. I'm also going to need some parm cheese. I got some breading. Got some chicken broth, and last but not least, some wine. And of course, you're gonna need olive oil and salt. All right, now that we know what we're doing, let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start getting this risotto going. Then need to pull it off, let it cool. We can make our arancini, bread it up, deep fry. While the risotto's going, we're gonna make our simple, spicy marinara sauce. Speaking of spice, I'm gonna be adding probably some crushed red pepper, give it a little bit of a zing. All right, let's get started. So I got a couple shallots here. I'm just gonna chop these fine, about a 1/4 inch. Love it when my knife just zips right through these. All right, I'm not gonna do all this in the risotto, but I need it for the marinara sauce. All right, go over to the stove. All right, I'm gonna put in about 3 tablespoons olive oil. Also on the back here, I'm gonna be putting about 3.5, 4 cups chicken broth. I'm going to be heating that up, not to a roaring boil, but no, you want it steamy. All right, now that your oil is shimmering, let's add our shallot. Medium-low heat. I'm gonna stir this around. Let it go for a minute or two, then we're gonna add our minced garlic. Let that go for a minute, then we're gonna add our rice. Don't rinse this rice. Let's do, what do you think? 3 garlic cloves. All right, let's go ahead and add our garlic now. That's gonna take about 30 seconds. All right, now it's time for the rice. 2 cups. 1, 2 cups. Stir this around, coat it in oil. You kind of want to toast it. Medium heat, it's gonna take a couple minutes. While that's going, let's get our wine. You want a dry white Sauvignon Blanc. Perfect, I got a Chablis here. Okay, now if you are using saffron, this is the place to add it. Add a good pinch here. All right, I'm gonna get the zest from 1 lemon. We'll finish with a little bit of lemon juice, but we want the peel in there for the lemoniness. This is about a tablespoon of lemon zest. All right, here we go. Perfect, pan's dry, it's been a couple minutes. I have toasted this. It's time to add our wine. You're gonna add about a cup of wine. Starts to cook down almost immediately, starts to get absorbed. Boom, it's getting close to being dry. I'm gonna do what's called the lazy method of risotto. I'm gonna add the majority of my broth, which should already be hot, and then I'm gonna stir it a couple times, simmer it for about 20 minutes. And then at the end, I'm gonna stir it a lot. And that's gonna make up for adding broth, stirring, adding broth, stirring, adding broth, stirring. It's tedious. I don't like it. It's not any different in the final product. I'm gonna add about 3 cups of my broth here. Should already be hot. Stir it around, bring it up to a simmer. All right, we're simmering. I'm gonna drop the heat down to the lowest point, cover it. Let's check on it in about 20 minutes. Okay, for the marinara sauce, I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. We got our garlic for it. Now let's get our onion, small onion. Chop it pretty fine. I want it relatively small. I don't want a chunky sauce. This is plenty. All right, over medium heat, let's heat up this oil until it's shimmering. We're heating up the oil. All right, let's get our onions into our pot here. Let's add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to the onions. And while we're at it, let's add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt to our risotto. All right, so I'm gonna do about 5 garlic cloves here of minced garlic. All right, let's go over to the stove. All right, I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of Aleppo in with my garlic. And while we're waiting, we'll open up our can, drain it. All right, sauteed our onion for a little bit. Go ahead and add our garlic and Aleppo. Stir this around. Good amount of garlic, good amount of olive oil, good amount of onions here. All right, so So off heat, I am putting these whole peeled tomatoes through a food mill. This is what I like. Pretty much just want these chopped up. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Really nice, good consistency. Look at this is what we want. Now you're just gonna simmer that uncovered till the flavors meld. You lose a little bit of the rawness from the tomatoes. Turns a little savory. It's gonna be about 20 minutes. Check on our risotto. Turning yellow. It's absorbed a lot of the water. I don't think it's cooked yet. I can just tell by looking at it that it's not cooked. So I'm gonna add probably half a cup of broth. See where that gets me. All right. Now is the time to stir. Now we're gonna stir for about 3 minutes. I wanna err on the side of having this be the perfect consistency before I cool it down. So that means it'll be a little bit too tight for risotto, and that's perfect for making balls. All right, let's just add the rest of this broth. Yes. I want this drier. Needs more salt. Let's put in about a half teaspoon of salt. Keep stirring. I'm gonna cover it. It's on the lowest heat. We're gonna let it go for 5 more minutes. Let's go ahead and add our additional tablespoon of lemon zest here. And then let's go ahead and add some lemon juice. There we go. Off heat. Stir this around. I think we got a good consistency here. Pretty much perfectly al dente. Lemony. Boom. Yes. I'm probably gonna add a 1/4 cup of parm. This is actually a combination of parm and pecorino romano, but I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons. Not too much. Want a little bit of parmy goodness in here. Remember, when we bread it, we're gonna have this parm on the outside as well. I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of water. Stir this around, really get those starches going. The sauciness of it is sticking to the rice. This is exactly what we want. All right, it is time to get it on my tray. I got a sheet tray here lined with aluminum foil. All right, spread it out pretty thin. Oh, look at that. Looks nice. I'm sweating. Let's get this in the fridge just to chill so we can make our balls here. Okay, for the breading, I'm gonna put in about 2 cups of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. I'm gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of parm, and let's add a little bit of lemon zest. Toss it around. We're not gonna add salt here. The parm is gonna act as the saltiness. Check on that marinara. It's looking good. Nice consistency here. Right there, it needs a teeny bit more time. That spice kind of hits towards the back end. I want a little bit more front end spice. I'm gonna add some pepper. I don't want it peppery, so maybe a 1/4 teaspoon. Put it back on the simmer. It's gonna be about 5 more minutes. All right, go ahead and mix this around. We're gonna make us some nice risotto. Get my olive oil in this pot. All right, I know I didn't call for it, but you're gonna need a couple eggs for the breading. Let's do 2 eggs. Crack it, 1 hand. Crack it, 1 hand. All right, just gonna whisk up these eggs. I'm gonna form the arancini around some mozzarella balls. Okay, we have our breading station all set up. I'm gonna go get the risotto, and I'm gonna set up a place for the risotto to land. All right, so I have my little mozzarella balls. I have my risotto. I don't want to make them too massive. So I'm gonna use 1 little ball in the middle of each. You want about a 3-inch circumference, which might be the length of your thumb. And you want it about 1 inch thick. You're gonna put the mozzarella in, you're gonna fold it, roll it up into a ball. We're gonna see how we do this, all right? I'm actually gonna wet my hand so the rice doesn't stick to it as much. All right, so let's start with this little bit here. I'm just going to form a ball around it. This is pretty loose. It's kind of coming apart on me. I am gonna freeze these and then bread them. We'll give it like 15 minutes in the freezer. This is a lot easier with day-old risotto. All right, get these in the freezer. Marinara sauce is looking good. We got a good consistency here. It's gone from kind of raw tomato to a little bit more savory. It's perfect. All right, I've let these arancini freeze for a little bit. I'm gonna wet my hand, make sure they're all compressed together. There we go, nice and tight. Go ahead and bread them quickly here. Very gently roll it around the egg, get it in the breadcrumbs, pack them in, really packed. It's your oil hot, you want it 350 to 400 degrees. You want this coating to take 1 minute aside. Hey, it actually looks pretty good. Remember, we got that mozzarella in the middle. We want that nice and gooey. All right, let's check out our stove. I got a whole bunch of olive oil in here. I'd say probably 3 or 4 cups. We're probably at 350 right now. So let's go ahead and get these arancini in, and let's be very gentle with these. Please, I'm gonna turn the heat down just for a moment. All right, let's just go for it. All right, here we go. Remember, the oil level will rise up as you get more of them in. Do not stick your fingers in the oil. All right. All right, I've gone ahead and lined sheet tray with paper towels, triple layer. These are where the arancini are gonna land. Back to the stove. I'm just gonna rotate as soon as it turns kind of golden brown, which is this one right here. Let's just go ahead and pick it up with tongs. Just give it a little rotate. Try not to bump the others. Be very gentle with your arancini babies here. Good golden brown, I like this. All right, let's keep rotating. Remember, the rice is already cooked. Carryover cooking will get the mozzarella kind of loose. You just want the breading to brown, crisp up, and you're good. These are looking completely golden brown all the way around. I'm gonna pull them out onto my prepared baking sheet that is lined with 3 layers of paper towels. All right, it's time to plate. All right, I'm gonna put this tomato sauce. It's right in the middle here. Look at that, almost a perfect circle. And then what I'm gonna do, but you just kind of turn the bowl and you make a nice little ring here. It's okay if a little bit stays in the middle, but I don't want to put my arancini directly into it. I kind of want to like scoop it up with the arancini, because if I put it in, then that breading that we worked so hard to get crispy gets soggy. That would be a bummer. So I'm just going to make a nice little spot here. All right, let's go ahead and get these arancini over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hit it with a little bit of parm. It's gonna put a little snow on top of those mountains. Perfectly round. Let's do a little bit of lemon zest on top here. I think that looks nice. All right, let's go. Go ahead and cut into one. Look at this. All the way through. Super crisp. Did you hear that crunch? But here we go. We got a little marinara. We got our mozzarella. We got our risotto ball. The outside breading is so crisp. Gives texture. So good. All right. In that first bite, you get that lemony risotto. That's like the first flavor. Boom, it just comes. And then you get that really crisp exterior, that breading. It doesn't overpower that lemony risotto. It's there. And then that marinara sauce, it's almost like a juiciness that comes in. And it's like an additional wave of flavor that just comes. And now as it's settled down and it's like, and the waves are going away, I get left with that spice. It's right here. It's on the back of my mouth, a teeny bit on the front, mostly in the back, and I'm feeling it build up in my throat. It's very nice. Oh, that marinara is so fantastic. It's really nice because the arancini are pretty rich. You know, the risotto has a lot of savoriness to it. The breading does as well. And then that marinara has a little bit of that sharp tanginess. And then the spice, it's just a match made in heaven. I love this. And the lemon comes through so perfectly between the zest and the risotto. I'm so glad this worked out. It was a lot of work. This is a good YouTube video. So that was lemon risotto arancini with a spicy marinara sauce. If you like what you saw, don't forget to check me out on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you want to support this channel for free, the best way is to subscribe to my YouTube. I also have some affiliate links that if you use and buy something, I do get a little kickback. It's another way to support the channel, but it's only good stuff. It's only stuff I use or I like. So no junk. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.